Would you rather do Yee or the Dutch Farmers?
Let's do Dutch Farmers.
Okay.
Kanye's not going anywhere.
Kanye definitely ain't going nowhere. So,
Kanye was on Alex Jones. Y'all know about the shit. It was crazy.
it was crazy.
He's saying some wild shit.
Yeah.
We'll see
This
what
is
happens.
good. I just have more content for the beer show than for the next
We'll
month.
see what happens.
Oh, my
See if I
God.
don't show up for one of these beer shows.
You know where I'll be, baby.
Yeah.
Dutch farmers protest against after being hurt very hard by nitrogen emission targets. Okay, so
So good.
this is something we
It's
had
written so good.
Well, this is from CGTN. See
All
the
right.
difference. It's a .com, I guess, so that's
right.
better than like a .de. But
It's no, what was it? GardenStateFamilies.org. But, you know, I suppose it will do.
depends on how much you love the Bible.
Listen,
I
the
guess.
blood of Christ.
All right, so we've talked about Dutch farmers before. We've shown certain protests, them getting shot at by the actual authorities at that point in time when they were doing they were protesting in the vein of the Canadian trucker protest by taking all of their tractors out, and they were blocking international airports, they were blocking roadways, all against the shutting down of their farms, their generalized oppression from the government related to the emissions that they output in regards to like green energy and shit like that, right? Well, the EU has essentially come out with actual numbers at this point. This is the first time I've seen the numbers anyways. But the farmers have begun to protest once again. They're back out on the streets. Do I have a picture? I got a video. This is one of the videos of the farmers once again. And it's a line of tractors again. It's farmers on the roads, making convoys, doing
They're going to the Capitol or something?
doing what the Canadians do best. I don't know where they're going in this one. It's just it's a newer video from BitChute. So these are all farmers heading on their way somewhere to protest, forming convoys,
Look
doing
at
what
that
they
road,
do.
dude.
It's welcome to the EU, bro.
That's a nice road.
Yeah, well, you want
That's
to
a
pay.
nice boulder.
All you got to do
We need
is
one of
pay
those.
60% taxes, and that road can be yours.
We need a drop for that. That's a nice boulder.
Say it one more time.
That's a nice boulder. that's Donkey from Shrek. He says that. He said, that's a nice boulder.
That's a nice boulder.
Yeah. Not of me saying it, of Donkey saying it.
I will find a clip of Donkey saying it, and I will record the motherfucker, and then we'll do it up proper. Jesus Christ.
As
long as it's streaming somewhere. No, I definitely won't clip you saying it because it lacks emotion, Donovan. It lacks emotion.
That's a nice boulder.
That's a nice boulder. Do your best Chris Rock impression.
That is Eddie Murphy.
Fuck. It is Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. He said,
From
that's
Shrek.
a nice boulder. I don't know.
That's relatively good in your own voice, mind you, but it's the mannerisms are correct, you know. As a man who speaks like Russian, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand how this goes. I get it. You did very good job. Okay, so let's go over the numbers here. We watched the video. This is, like I said, we've talked about this before, the Dutch farmers. The protests aren't as extreme right now as they used to be. But
Right, they're not getting shot at like you're talking about.
they're not getting shot at like they once did, which we showed on the podcast. Dutch farmers protest against being hurt very hard by nitrogen emissions target. Dutch farmers are continuing to protest government plans to have nitrogen emissions, by 2030. Agenda 2030. We're not going to talk about it.
8 years from now.
We're not
7.
going to talk about Agenda 2030.
Not if you want to stay on YouTube.
A move which they claim will put many out of business. The Netherlands is the world's second largest exporter of agricultural goods, but intensifying farming methods and a high population density means that nitrogen levels have started to reach illegal levels, prompting the Hague, prompting the head to take action. So at this point, they've already said, fuck you, we're just going to keep going. And now it's like, well, the Hague's getting involved. These are the people that do war crimes. War crimes.
You guys are ecological Nazis at this point. We can't stand for it.
The Dutch government said the targets are essential to protect the country's air, water, soil, and biodiversity, specifically insects, which it says are vital to agriculture. Farmers,
Dutch
though,
farmers should make a flag with a green swastika on it and be like, "This is what you think about us."
becoming the green
I'm
Nazi.
reaching. We're 7
Donovan, I
hours in.
don't think becoming the green Nazis is the answer.
It's just satirized. It's satire.
Yeah, no. I get it. They won't. That'll land them in front of the Hague, motherfucker, all right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The Hague is very sensitive to the swastika. Come on. You should know better by now. All right. So farmers, though, say they have invested a lot in being environmentally friendly and that the new measures will hurt very hard. Meat and dairy farms are responsible for 41% of the country's nitrogen emissions through animal waste.
It's interesting that
the doo-doo.
It's interesting that they keep saying hurt very hard. Like it was weird to say it the one time, but they're repeating it. You know?
We're hurt real hard.
Like I get that it's a quote, but you have to know that that's weird.
Oh, but also, they're Dutch. They're not speaking English. This is going to be some kind of translation.
Even then, it's a weird thing.
I'm sure it makes sense in
Pick
Dutch.
another quote is what I'm saying.
Pick another quote.
In English, it doesn't
As
read
the journalist, do better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In English, it doesn't read well.
All right, enough of this nonsense. The long and short of it is, there is a crackdown on these Dutch farmers.
Food production.
Continued. Yeah, food for the number 2 in the world of agricultural exports throughout the nation or out the world, and the EU, which is where these regulations are coming from, right? Because the Netherlands cannot control their own
globalist idiots.
Exactly. Where do you think this comes from? Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum?
What?
Because that's exactly where it comes from.
Who said that?
I did. That's exactly where it comes from. Motherfucker has said it on the internet. You can go watch it on their website. What they want to do is shut down 3,000 farms. It should not surprise you that no more than 30 have volunteered to take the subsidy and retire. So there are 3,000 farms they want to close. They want to cut down 30% of overall livestock because of all the cow burps and all the cow farts that are adding to greenhouse gases, which are changing their climate, which are going to kill us all. And
what does arable mean? A-R-A-B-L-E.
That means anything that can become airborne. In what context? Read the sentence.
Farms, arable farms.
Arable farms. Yes. Yeah. If you have livestock, they are going to they're going to off-gas certain gases. You're going to have a net if you're going to put a bubble around a specific piece of property that is a farm, you're going to have a net export of greenhouse gases.
So you said 3,000 farms?
Yes.
In 2021, the Netherlands had 11,189 arable farms.
Okay.
In 2021.
So they're going to cut down 3,000 of that.
Yeah.
So hang on. Let's get the internet. Let's get the calculator
It's going to
going.
be about 9,000.
Could be 9,000.
Sorry, 8,000.
Let's get a percentage going on. Sure. How many were you starting with?
11,189.
11,189. Enter, and we are going to have 3,000 closing, which leaves us at actually point. Well, yeah. How do we do 3,000? Can't do math right now. I can't do it right now. I'm sorry. I can't do trig right now. I'm sorry. It's going to be like it's a high percentage of cut. It's a high percentage. Oh, wait. No. I do know how to do this, actually. And we're cutting down 3,000, right?
Yep.
So the difference is 8,890 and 8,190. And how many did we start with again?
11,189.
89. Divide. That's not right. Never mind. I think I got to inverse those two integers. But it's a high percentage of close down. I mean, that's a lot.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we can just roughly do the math. 3,000 out of 1,100. That's close to a quarter, right? It's close to a quarter? Let's go with that. Close to a quarter. I'm not going to do the exact fucking percentage at this point. Divide 3,000 by the total number of farms.
Yes.
Fuck you, Deborah. I did it backwards. Oh, 3,000 times 11. We'll just do 11,000. It's about 25%. It's about 26, 27%. There you go, Deborah. Jesus Christ. Thank you very much.
Hilarious.
I've had a few beers. Leave me alone.
Oh, Deborah, it's a good thing you're here.
Deborah, you should know better. This is part 4 of 4, all right? This is when shit gets wild.
I paid for your guys' education.
Thankfully, we were both smart enough not to go to college, so no. You're actually currently funding our next high-quality video camera, which we will need for the new studio. Props to that, by the way.
For the new year.
It's going to be legit. I'm now instantly thinking about how much excess equipment I have in my house that we can provide. Fuck. I wish I would have done this beforehand, but I do want to take a second to give a nice shout out to Deborah, who is one of our patrons on Patreon right now. Thank you very much, Deborah. I highly encourage everybody to like and subscribe this video. I want to make sure we get these, our generalized message out to as many people as possible.
Yep.
And one of the ways that we can do that in a more efficient and better manner at that point is by having more subscribers on our Patreon. So shout out, Deborah. You are the #1 OG fan at this point. Not really, because, you are the best current fan at this point. And so thank you very much, Deborah, for becoming a massive force in the production of Salt Streets Productions.
You're playing favorites.
Thank you very much. I mean, shout out Larry Dixon, you the man.
Says you're the best.
And I'd also give a shout out to our other patron, but it's you, so fuck you.
What? It's a secret.
It's a secret. It's a secret. Nobody knows about it. So, yes, thank you very much, Deborah. We really, really, really do appreciate it. And you give us more motivation than I think you probably realize. So anyways, thoughts on the Dutch farmers, good sir?
What are we going to eat?
That is indeed the question, because as we cut down on 30% of the livestock, 70%. Oh, I don't think I said that number. The other number the EU has regulated that the Netherlands cut down on is they need to cut down on 70% of their nitrogen fertilizer, which is what provides the food that the second largest producer of food in the world relies on.
Yeah, get a lot of that fertilizer from Russia.
We used to. I mean, we can't really do that now.
Traditionally.
Yeah, but
a fucking February we did.
Yeah, because things are different now.
Right.
Obviously, we don't talk to our neighbors to the east because Russia's,
Deborah says lab-grown meat. What about bugs too, right? Also bugs?
I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. I will not live in the pod.
I'm not saying
and I will not live in the bugs.
I'm saying
that the Europeans should eat bugs.
I'm saying that seems to be what they're getting at, because what the fuck else are we going to eat if you're taking all the food?
I don't necessarily know if we're expected to eat anything, Donovan.
This says, God damn it, that article says, with the plans have nitrogen emissions by 2030, that could mean over 11,000 farms have to close. This thing says there's only 11,000 farms.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to get European sources, Donovan. That's all I'm going to say right now. It's tough to get European sources.
Let's find out what the fucking arable farm is.
Yeah, Google search an arable farm. This is from newsseu.
Arable farming deals mainly with cultivating crops on viable land. So 11,000 is just crops, so that I don't have to do with, including vegetables, cereals, and plants that produce cloth or oils.
No farms, no food, Donovan.
Yeah, that's no good.
No farms, no food.
No farmers, no food. That's right.
No farmers, no food.
Number of dairy cows.
The Great Reset in action.
Greenhouse horticulture farms. Maybe that's what we're looking for.
The government of the Netherlands has announced plans to force the sale and closure of 3,000 farms in order to meet strict environmental guidelines put in place by the European Union. Although the purchase will apparently be made on generous terms of up to 120% of the farm's value, the Dutch government has already made clear the purchase will be mandatory, not required.
What percent? 120%?
120% of the land's value.
We'll overpay you.
I don't care about the fucking land value.
I'm asking what they're saying. I'm not saying it's a good deal. I'm asking what they're offering them. Dear Christ.
They're offering them above market value, apparently.
But just for the land.
of the farm's value.
Purchases will apparently be made generous of the farm's value. Okay, so which would mean all the animals and stuff like that.
Even I don't care if you make all these motherfuckers. You can offer them 1,000% more than what the farm's value is worth. The true value of the farm's worth is in the output of agriculture that goes to the rest of the fucking world. It's the food that we all rely on, because here in the United States, the only thing we actually make is corn and fucking soybeans on a large scale. Yep. And we ship them primarily over to fucking China and then turn the rest into high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
Fact check true. I'm sorry. But it's not something you can just fuck with because you decide that you know best how the world's billion-year fucking plan, the planet's multi-million-year climate fucking plan works. You decide this is the way we have to go, and so fuck everybody involved. We're just going to cut our overall global food supply by X amount of percentage. I don't care if it's 1%. If you deem that you know better than anybody else in this point, you're gambling with things that you have no idea. You don't know the true stakes at play here at this table. This is ignorance on a massive fucking scale. And it is only going to lead to absolute disaster going forward. If the number 2 producer of agricultural products, actual consumables, not just fucking not just fucking corn and soybeans,
right?
Then we got a serious fucking problem here, and the chicken's gonna come home to roost. Obviously, they ain't gonna come home to roost in fucking the Netherlands because they want to cut 30% of their livestock. But a lot of our corn in the United States goes to livestock feed. And you cut that shit down. Word. It's a whole... I mean, I don't want to get into the whole globalist thing and blah, 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 but like when it comes to like the world's food supply... No. I'm just saying that there is a global agricultural market that has been put into place over the decades between like NAFTA and the fucking TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership and all this stuff. This all has to do with which countries grow which agriculture, who trades with what, all this stuff. You fuck with all that shit, man. Like, you guys have systematically built a system of global reliance in the world's food supply, and now you're going to fuck with it because you think the world's going to end because of climate change?
It's for the trees, man.
I challenge everybody to listen to a little bit of fucking... Oh, I don't remember his name now. There's a few people out there right now that are being like, bro, do you realize that like there's 30% more trees on this planet than there was 20 years ago?
He was talking about the trees.
I know, but he's relaying information by a reliable source.
Do you call that?
Don't listen to Herschel Walker for most things. He's had a lot of head trauma over his life.
Call it the false library fallacy.
The false library fallacy. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
That is when you are...
Peterson just talked about this. Thank you, Deborah.
When you don't actually know about something, but you are relaying information that somebody else told you about it. And so... That's
the false library fallacy?
Yep.
Damn, I feel like we do that a lot. Because what we do is convey other people's aggregated information.
Only if we don't research it further ourselves.
Indeed.
It's not like we don't take what Ben Shapiro says and repeat his talking points.
God, no.
That's just for an example.
Yeah, that would
we
be
don't
a
do
problem.
that with anybody. That's just an example that I thought of first.
Self-check on me. That's true. I'm glad I don't do that.
We don't do that. So if we're challenged on it, we are able, on any given idea generally that we present here, we're able to provide further information, and this is the big thing, sources to where we got the information.
Indeed.
Instead of just, well, this person said this thing. Like, that's not a source.
No.
If you listen to a podcast about it, I would say in modern times that's a source because that's people get information from there.
Yeah.
But if you're not repeating Steven Crowder's talking points, right? Oh my God.
Deborah, you're amazing. You should. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
No. But yeah, if you're just repeating someone's talking points without researching it and having more information on it, You are involved in the false library fallacy. You're presenting one. When
the Charlie Kirks of the world and things like that. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I learned about. Deborah knows about that. That's one of the things that I learned about in how to have impossible conversation.
Hey everybody, Colin here from Salt the Streets. Thank you for watching today's edition of Salty Shorts. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to check out the full episode right here on the Salt of the Streets YouTube channel. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this with all your friends. And you too can become a spreader of the message of liberty. Thanks.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you